Stocks are trading lower today, unlike yesterday when we had a big green day in the market. With that being said, yesterday we did have over 97% of the S&P go into the green, and normally the next day it is red, and that's what we've seen. So we do got some news with China. China hits back with 125% tariffs on US goods, and it's just honestly, man, this is getting crazier and crazier every single day. So keep the trade war on your mind and on your radar. And later on, I'm going to be giving you guys a stock that could move like we moved recently with the SPY, moving all the way up a decent amount, basically, like all the way down from 500 to like $40 up. And it can make you probably the same amount of returns or returns that are similar to that. But with that being said, let's get into some news and then we'll tell you guys more about the stock market overall. But GameStop's has been kind of rising, kind of not really. People have been hyping it up, but then also not at the same time. But keep GameStop on your mind and on your radar to go back up to that $30 mark. But also to the downside too. You can make a decent amount of money off GameStop. But with that being said, an hour before market opens, 30 minutes from now, but probably it might be out by the time you guys watch this video, by the time this video comes out. The PPI data comes out, so that can move the market up or down, but people are kind of overlooking data right now and looking more into the trade war. With that being said, keep that on your mind before you guys trade. An hour before, just check out that data, see how it moved the market at 8:30 or whatever time it is, an hour before market opens for you. We do have consumer sentiment also coming out too that might bring up or down the market. That's 30 minutes after market opens. So keep that in mind if you guys are trading, like day trading, and you guys get into a trade like right away, basically, this can move or kind of just like rearrange where the stock is going. Like if you guys see an uptrend, it might bring you to a downtrend and have a sell off, or it might bring your stock up even more. Earning season is starting. We got some banks coming out. We do got some news with the banks. I'm going to be showing a little bit later. We do got earning season, and that can bring up or down the market too. But banks are looking decent. T-shirts could be the new eggs. So the tariffs can bring up prices of t-shirts, and that could be the new inflation thing. People were complaining about eggs, and now we're going to be talking about t-shirts basically. China knows Trump's breaking point, so you guys know China is standing on business just like Trump. He did do that 90-day pause on every other country, but China, we do have big tariffs on them, 145%, and it's probably going to keep getting higher. China did. We just seen that news before. China putting a bunch of tariffs more on us. Morgan Stanley's profit rises as traders benefit from volatile markets. We also have Wells Fargo beats profit estimates, but CEO warns tariffs could slow growth. So this is good and bad. Their profits is good, but they're saying that the tariffs can kind of bring down their growth for next earnings. So that can bring up or down the stock. We are down 5%. Oil prices set to drop for a second week. So oil prices keep on going down, which is good for the, I guess, consumer to say. Basically, trade war, it is bringing it down. We do have a new Cybertruck. It is $69,000. You already know Elon probably did that price on purpose, but it's basically just a cheaper Cybertruck. This might bring their sales up, but it really just depends. But we'll see in the future when we get the stats basically. But yeah, man. So keep this one on your mind. Tesla. I mean, Tesla is doing pretty decent. We're going to be looking at some price targets later too. We do have gold breaking new highs once again. People, this is like the saving grace stock basically right now, or not stock, but just saving grace asset that people are investing in. So keep gold on your mind and on your radar. I did do some calls. They were down, like I think I was down like 5 G's at one point, but now I'm up 10. So it is pretty decent. I'm holding it for a little bit longer. I might sell it soon though, just to take profit, see profit, take profit. Another thing with gold, best place to be as tariff turmoil sparks climb to record. Keep these most active stocks on your mind. So of course, Nvidia, we do got some decent levels looking a little bit bullish, but just got to be patient because Nvidia is affected with the China trade war. Tesla has been looking pretty decent. Ford, Lucid Group, and Palantir. Palantir, honestly, man, I mentioned this in almost every video, but Palantir, you didn't really see it die down too much, and I think Palantir is at saving stock. Maybe not right now because it is up almost at the $90 level once again. But when we broke down to like that 65, I think, max. And then, I mean, we'll look at it on the charts, honestly. But with that being said, Palantir has been moving, like, honestly, man, with this whole trade war. If we go into the 4-hour time frame, I showed you guys this before, but literally it kind of moves with the trade war, but not really. But the lowest that we've gotten so far was like 65 bucks, like I said, and that's not even that much compared to, even if you bought it at that $80 level, you're not down too much, and you do got those highs of 125 that we can get to maybe by the end of the year. People are saying by the end of the year this can get like like 200, $300. I'm not going to overhype it that much. Maybe 150 by the end of the year if we do start going upwards. But we do got to hit a bottom with the SPY overall and probably NVIDIA too. And this can move really. I mean, this basically moves with NVIDIA. But if you do want to do some short-term plays, I do recommend looking at Palantir to the upside and maybe even all the way up to that $100 level next and maybe 110 next. You never know, but it just depends on how everything's really moving and what all's going on. Before we get to the SPY, let's talk about some news overall, just some news that I have summarized. So futures, US stock futures are slightly higher this morning, suggesting a modest rebound after Thursday lost after tariff concerns. Economic data, the March PPI is projected to have increased by 0.2%, indicating inflationary pressures. Consumer sentiment is expected to decline further. Safe havens assets, like we said before, gold futures have surged to a new record above 3,200, which is insane. President Trump has raised tariffs on China imports to a combine of 145%, like we said before. Their response was 125% on tariff US goods. And global impact, the escalating trade war is disrupting the $582 billion trade relationship between the US and China. Some stocks I recommend looking at is Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, Tesla, and maybe SPY, but just be a little bit more patient with SPY. Some stocks to watch also is JP Morgan. So reported stronger than expected earnings with EPS of $5.07 on 45.31 billion revenue. But like we said before, he's warning about the turbulence with the basically tariffs. Gold mining stocks, company like Newmont Corporation, NEM, and Barrick Gold Corporation, which is GOLD, gold, ticker symbol, are gaining traction as gold prices hit new highs. Investor sentiment is basically still cautious, balanced earning data, economic indicators, and geopolitical tensions. The escalating trade war and its potential impact on global supply chains are basically a big concern. With that being said, let's get to some price levels and then we'll get to that surprise stock. Y'all probably already seen it. I'm kind of giving you guys a hint now, but yeah. So for SPY, I do think that we got to break that 530 and then past that 530, we got to get to the highs from yesterday, that 545 to really have, a bullish trend. With that being said, we can either open up bullish or bearish. You can't really guess it. We are a little bit neutral pre-market, unlike yesterday, where we were pretty bearish, and then it kind of followed with the rest of the day. Trump did come in and kind of talk a little bit more, hype up some stocks a little bit to say, not really, but we did get a rally after that. But with that being said, look at these levels. So 528.4, 529.8, 530, 535 point or 535, 537.5, 540, and of course 545, and then that 548.62 to the upside. To the downside, I'll be looking at that 526, 525, 522.2, 520, 517, 513. These are basically day trading levels to look at. If you're in some long terms, just kind of jump $5 at a time. So 530, 535, 540, stuff like that. With that being said, I will be coming out with a short if you guys are interested with some more price levels when market opens to give you guys kind of a better overlook with the market and show you guys where we're really going. But with that being said, next stock to look at is Apple. I will be looking at Apple going back up to that 200 level. But in the meantime, look at 191.5, 192.5, 195, and then 197, and then that 200 level if we get some upside movement. To the downside, I'll be looking at that 190. We might break down below there before this video comes out. But past that 190, we're looking at 188.5, 187, 185, and then that 183 level, and then 180 to the downside. NVIDIA, we're looking okay with NVIDIA, not looking too bad. To the upside, I was looking at 110, 112.5, 115, and then that 120 level next. To the downside, I will be looking at that 108 first, and if we break below 108, we can look at 105, and 105 can just kind of show a little bearish trend. And then if we break even lower than that, 102, and that 100 level is going to be key. Past that 100 level, I look at 98 and then 95. Palantir, like we said before, Palantir is looking pretty decent. Some short-term trading. Let's see if it breaks above that $90 level once again, and then 91.5, 93.3, 97.5, and that $100 level to the upside. But that's only if we get a big move to the upside. If we get up there to the downside, 88, 86.5, and 85. Keep in mind that Fridays, man, we're normally red, but just keep that in mind, honestly. Tesla, man. So we had highs of like that 276.8. So if you really want to see a clear, like a clear bullish trend, see if we bounce above this. If not, we might get another bounce below that and then bounce down lower. So look at that 258, 260, 264, 270, and then that 270 or that 276.8 level, and then that 280 past that. To the downside, 250 first, and then 248, 244, 240, 235.7, 228, and then that 218.9. With that being said, Bitcoin is looking okay. We do got a little bit of a bullish rally, but honestly, just look at how it reacts to the highs of 83.527. You can break above that, show a little bit of a bullish trend. We might get 84 to that 86. But with that being said, look at MSTR because it moves with Bitcoin, but MSTR also moves with SPY. So if we're bullish on Bitcoin and SPY, look at this to the upside. Bearish on both, look at it from the downside. Upside 293.5, 300 is going to be key, 307 and 313. To the downside, I'll be looking at that 280, 276.98 and that 270 level to the downside, and then probably even breaking some more lows like this low from yesterday, 261.73, and then that 250 level next. Finally, man, so with the trade war going on, a lot of China stocks are falling. One stock to look at is Alibaba, ticker symbol BABA. Basically, the thing about this one is that the thing about the tariffs is that all we have to do is get a deal. That's what Trump really wants is an even deal. And if we can get an even deal, that's not too bad. Even all the way down to like 25% tariffs both ways, 50% tariffs both ways. Honestly, I'm thinking we can maybe even get 10% both ways, but only if they agree. But if we do come out with a deal, you can see this rally back up. And I have this green level right here, 127.16 is a level that I think we can break up to instantly once we get some great news. That's some great news. Extremely great news. I think 135 to that 140, but we need like 0% tariffs probably for that one. But with that being said, but 127 level is key to look at if you guys want to play some calls on this if we do get some good news. But for now, look at Alibaba to the downside. We are kind of consolidating around here, so you can just see how it reacts to these two levels. But you can probably day trade these. So just wait until maybe it might get to up to the top, and then you might see a bounce, and that's when you can play a little put option. And then down here, if you see another bounce downwards, and then it bounces up, you can probably play a little call. So just be very, very patient with this one, but watch news. And if news comes out, come straight to this stock. Also, I mean, other like US stocks will benefit too. Like the SPY can benefit, Nvidia can benefit, especially Apple can benefit because a lot of things are made in China. But also Amazon too. Amazon can too. Amazon's trying to get away from basically their China deals, but there's a lot there's a lot more to really cover for that. I think almost like half of the people that sell on Amazon is from China, or they get things from China to sell. I mean, if you look at drop shipping and stuff like that, you get products from Alibaba and stuff like that, and you resell it on Amazon, Shopify and stuff like that. So keep that in mind because a lot of stocks can go up if we do get a great deal, and they can also go down if we get bad deals. So with more bad news, you can look at Alibaba, Amazon, Apple, and Nvidia. So yeah. But thanks for watching the video. Smash the like button. Subscribe if you guys are new. Let me know what you guys are basically investing in. Check out the shorts. We do daily shorts. I do a couple shorts covering a few stocks, some levels to look at for day trading, especially day trading. Maybe I might come out with some long-term buys if I see a good opportunity. Right now, maybe not, unless Alibaba is a decent one. But I might wait for Alibaba to get down to like that 90 to that $80 level. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.